Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. Before I get into this video, I'd like to ask you all to please leave a like and comment on my video and consider subscribing to my channel. Now, a part of today's video is going to discuss the very important aspects within the current patch. That is where we got the test server. So one of the things that came out with it is sovereignty. So I have to actually applaud the devs on this one here. The test server this time was seeded with the new equipment, the new items, so that players could get a hold of them. One or two negatives were they only seeded the T8 ships and the T8 basics. They didn't seed other functions within that server. They didn't speed up the rate at which you could build. It's one or two minor problems. It means that you're going to run on the test server for the full 2 weeks in order to get the experience. They did make things a lot simpler for the Capsulia outposts, but they did make several major problems. Since it isn't the official server, it's going to be hard to build up defenses on those outposts, so players don't have any idea how lethal the outpost can be. They don't understand whether the outpost is dangerous, whether it needs a heavy defense, whether it needs a small defense. And this makes a massive difference to the gameplay. And let me explain it like this here. If you have to deploy 100 ships to defend Capsulia outpost, the corporation outpost, it means that you only need 100 players online to protect it. But let's say that it's even stronger than that and you only need 20 or 30 people to deploy disruptor fields and things like that to catch players out and pull players out of bubbles and things like that. Then you have an even better way of fighting, because you can go and catch one person and have the station do all the DPS for you. Now, those are all the things that we need to analyze and we need to work out. But due to the fact that building these items is a really costly and really time consuming, okay, I say it's time consuming, even though, wait, let me just have a quick look at it. I'll do it right now. Since it's the same on both servers, I'm just going to open this quickly. One moment. Sorry about this. This is just a little bit long. I am experiencing slight lag on the game at the moment. I don't know why. So let's go to structure modules. Okay, let's go to a stand-up large. Now, if I wanted to build a stand-up large, let's first have a look at how much I need. Okay, 3 hours 36 minutes to build it. You can see the resources needed. This is a few days worth of collection. The markets are empty on the test server. And here's all of the other resources. This is also something massively inconvenient in terms of time. And as you can see, it's a 9.5 million cost. It's not that heavy in terms of costing. But let's just put it all together. You need 2 of those. That's 7 hours. Let's go down here. This here is also another 7 hours. You need 2 of them. So that's 14. It's 21, 24 and a half, so 1.5 days to build all of your fittings for a station. So that's if you have all your slots unlocked. But let's say that you have the odd player like me who only has 1 slot at a time available, and I don't really build everything all at once. So how long is it going to take me? Well, with the 3 hours for each module, it's exactly what I said. It's going to take just over 23 hours. And if you're somebody who has all your slots unlocked, it might take you something like 3.5 hours to do all of those modules. So those are big things that they didn't think about. It does add a little bit of difficulty and it makes it easy for some players. But collecting mats is still going to take long. The amount of mats that we need to collect for one station to be built or one of those modules will take about a week to get all of it together. So yes, it is going to take some time. It's going to be quite costly and it's going to be very expensive. So there are several things that you need to worry about. You need to take consideration of them. Now, I know that I'm being very, very broad spectrum on most of the things I've discussed so far. But let's get a little bit more into detail. Now, I am a little bit distracted because I am fighting in this battle. Okay, so let's do this here in order and let's try and sort it out properly. So the test server is fantastic because we have access to T8 ships. So we have an idea of what we can do in T8. We have access skill points, so we know where we're going to be with skills in a few weeks or a few months time. Let's see, that's 2 of the bonuses. let's see, there's other bonuses to the test server. It gave us a new mechanic in the game, which is going to be very important for sovereignty. That is traveling through gates. It means that alliances have to be made and they have to be maintained between the different regions. Capsuleer outposts and corporation outposts are the only other buildings that can build station pieces, so they are very important for the meta. Protecting them is going to be very, very important for players. So if you have an enemy, it's going to be full scale attack on every one of their stations. You need them down before soft drops, because once soft drops, the distances become a bit crazy. Okay, so that is one of the things to note. The next thing to note is going to be, let's see, I talked about sovereignty dropping, I talked about minor problems. Okay. All right, there are several other things that I'm supposed to discuss, but I'm making a mistake on them. Oh, yes, they did not seed weapons and other fittings for your ships. Now, this is something which isn't really such a big deal for some players, but other players it's a massive deal. Remember, a lot of players spend money in the game daily, and 200 million isn't a lot for you to really have and hold in the game. Example for me, I can spend 600 million in a day, easy as 1, 2, 3, and I can make 600 million in a day. But on the test server, I'm not going to go hunting dead spaces to go and make 600 mil, because I'm not going to make 600 mil. I'm going to make far less. And it's going to be a waste of time to me, because once more, it isn't carrying over. If they did carry over your ISK, it would be a different story. The bonuses to the test server. The test server has a 130,000 SP point gain. Now 130,000 just for being able to sit on the test server, fight a Capsuleer outpost and win or destroy it. So that makes it one of the most important things to do. To test out the test server is very important, because it's going to give you an advantage in gameplay. It's going to take you up 130,000 SP points. So for some players it doesn't seem all that bad. For those who don't have plex and so forth, who aren't fully plexed out, that is a saving of almost 2 days to those at 30 SP a day. That's 2 days off their training. Makes a big difference. For people like me, that is 1 day worth of training. So yeah, once more, it is a big deal. And if you think that that doesn't make it such a big deal, let me explain it a little bit further. When it comes to the next part of that whole patch, it also influences how much of DPS, how much of energy, how much you can sustain on your ship. So for example, if I'm doing engineering into Battle Cruiser Expert or Battle Cruiser Advanced, which is something that could be possible, or if I'm learning my skills for my battleship, if I have 110,000, even that small amount of SP gained, it makes a difference to me in a portion of time. It means my ship can come out of the dock half a day early. That means I can solo T8 Inquisitors and Scouts and Dead Spaces. That is the impact of taking out those big ships. Obviously, there are some fittings you want to roll onto the ship to make it a little bit more efficient. It's understandable. Some players will do this here right away, others won't. Why isn't it launching? Okay, well, nonetheless, let's continue moving on with what I was talking about. So there is one reason why you should be on the test server, and it was a very clever objective from NetEase. I have to say that the devs did really think it out properly this time. They didn't make a useless test server like it was previously. Now, why did I call the previous test server useless? Well, number one, when we jumped on, there was no seeded equipment. We were working like we were playing the game on a server that isn't permanent, and nothing that we do on the test server related to us in the game. Now, even though the test server this time, no matter how much of work we put into it, doesn't relate in terms of our ISK, but it does relate in terms of SP. 110,000 SP, 130,000 SP, more than enough for me. If I have 130,000 SP, it means that I can go around and I can battle with my battleship maybe a half a day early, maybe 6 hours early, maybe one whole day early, depending on where you are, how much of skills you're putting in. But that makes a big difference. If I take out my nightmare and I go ratting through Sanchez space at the moment with the debris prices and so forth, I might be able to make easy 2 or 3 billion a day. And if I can go around with such a powerful ship with enough plasmoids and everything loaded up, I might be able to do 2 or 3 solo dead spaces. I might be able to jump into a zero point 0.9 system, higher spawn rates, higher level enemies, complete such activities, and as I'm going through with that, it gives me advantages on the double. So there we go. Everything is being improved with what they gave you. Now moving forward, the next thing to note, the testing of ships. It is also another fantastic thing that they did since T8 has been seeded. Yes, the faction ships aren't seeded in the test server, so here are a few things that you can test out. You can jump into the Drake, you can jump into the Oracle, and you can spec out the skills you wanted on those ships so that you have sorry so that you have an expert version of your vessel and you understand where you're going with that vessel. You can then spec it out with as much gear as you possibly can. Obviously, if you were unfortunate and don't have the ISK on you, you're going to be in that bad spot where you're going to have to get someone else to help you out. But obviously, somebody most likely will give you equipment on the test server. It isn't super expensive. Now, once you're off the test server, all of this experience does relate to you on the real server. And here are the things that it can help you with. Number one, you can change your gameplay style. Some corps run what you call armor doctrines or shield doctrines and so forth. And you as a player now can go and jump onto another server, get a hold of you can jump onto the official server, get a hold of a Drake. Let's say, for example, you didn't know whether the Drake was worth it for you. It is a very sluggish ship. It's not the best compared to my Cyclone, who is way faster than this. And you can go around and you can do a lot more with the vessel. Since you have max XP at your disposal, you can go and throw in max XP into cruiser speed, and you have enough plex on its server to do a SP reset. So you can reset all your SP and put it into the right categories and test out your ship. You can test out whether you want to switch around fittings, so forth. Those are all available to you. Now, yes, I do know that I did say there is a problem with it, and to an extent I can understand why it's there. You can test out what's the max with your engineering levels and so forth, and you can test out MK7 gear. This gives you a lower level idea on the ship, but as you progress in the game, you can now go and jump and say, you know what, I've tested out the Oracle. I can solo Bad Hair Day with the Oracle like it's nothing. I can solo this mission and that mission with the Oracle. So yeah, I'm going to keep it. I can make 1 billion a day with this. There you go. You got your idea. You got your ship. You got everything ready. Then you get the next guy. He has a Drake. He wants to know, can he make his Drake faster? Can he make his Drake more tanky? Can he output heavier DPS? Now, the Drake is a beast when it comes to DPS. Almost 4,700 right now. And if it gets any more boosted, if I put on the right weapons, it most probably will break the 5,000 mark. So 5,000 DPS isn't a small increase for this vessel. It's a massive increase. So what will this do for me overall as I say, for example, reach Tech 9? Basically, you're heading halfway through to Tech 9. And it's going to tell you that I can go and do this here today. I'm going to have a ton of power on my ship. I'm going to be able to take on really heavy missions, and nobody's really going to stand in my way. And there you go. It was your analysis. Now, I'm just using that as an example. But those are the things you can do on the test server. And with the advantage of it giving you SP for just joining, there's 10,000 for just joining the test server, which I already did. I have that. And then I'm going to join a fleet operation on the test server to go take out somebody's Capsulia outpost. Now, a lot of players haven't installed weapon systems on the Capsulia outpost, or not Capsulia, the co-op outposts. So because it doesn't have that one aspect, it makes a big difference to our gameplay. You can go and you can beat the Capsulia. Sorry, I'm making that mistake again. You can go and beat the co-op outpost, and it's not really going to fight back. It might have one or two systems on, but it's not as heavy as it should be. You can go in with the small team, attack it, hardly anybody is defending, people are jumping back to the official server today. There you go, quick and easy. Break it apart, make your 120,000, get onto a kill report, and you have that main person with the kill report. You share it between everybody, and you have that stuff to make your claim if it doesn't happen at the end of this period. So there you go, 120,000 SP for destroying a Capsulia, for destroying a corporation outpost. Sorry, I'm making that mistake again. And on top of that, you now have the ability to improve your character in the real game. Now, it might take you a day or two to actually get into one of those fights, but that is the primary objective that you have on that server. Now, once you do go ahead and destroy one of those stations, you can see what you get from it, the wreck, the effect on the area, whether it takes one station to hold an area, how you hold a region. All of this makes a massive difference to each and every player. Because if you hold a region, it means that you can travel safer, you can do a lot more. Now, this is just the basic discussion on the current situation. I am going to be going through and looking at a few more things in terms of this, and I will be making another video following up on other things to note about the test server. So thank you all for watching. Have a good day.